Hello everyone, welcome to my kitchen. I'm Lucas.
And I'm Marisela from EVPL Central. And you're watching Recipes from My Kitchen. Thank you, Lucas, for inviting us into your beautiful kitchen. Now, I'm very excited today because Lucas is going to make chicken sauté. And I've had Lucas's chicken sauté before, and it's absolutely delicious. Now, I know that chicken sauté is like the national food of Indonesia, right?
It is very common, chicken sauté is, especially on one of the islands in Indonesia called Java. It's very common there indeed, yes.
And the reason he knows so much is because Lucas was born in Indonesia, but he's a Dutch citizen. So how did that happen?
Well, it happened because my parents were in Indonesia. So Indonesia was a Dutch colony at the time. So the first 10 years of my life I lived in Indonesia. And as a consequence got to really enjoy Indonesian cooking. I've kind of adopted that as part of my own cooking. And one of the things that I like to make best is chicken sauté, which is essentially little pieces of chicken put on a bamboo skewer and then grilled. One of the things that some people may confuse sauté and sauté is that, as I said, sauté, the chicken sauté, is little pieces of chicken that is marinated, put on a skewer, and then grilled, whereas sauté is typically a cooking style that involves fat.
Oh.
What's that sound?
Oh, that was just my brain getting enlightened. You actually taught me something right now.
Oh, very good.
Sauté. So this is sauté. Sauté is when you just fry something in a pan really quick, right?
Yeah, that's the difference.
I got it.
So I like to use bamboo skewers that are about 10 inches long and soak them in water, because when you buy them at the grocery store, they are dry. And if you put them dry on the skillet, then on the grill, then they have a tendency to burn. So for the recipe, I like to use about 2 pounds of chicken tenderloin. And the chicken tenderloin that I have here represents that, roughly about that amount. And typically what I like to do is cut them into roughly 1-inch pieces. So I'm going to cut these roughly in those size pieces, so that first of all they marinate nicely, but they also fit on the skewers nicely and they cook nicely on the grill.
Lucas taught me that it's better to scrape off the skin than it is to cut it. I was cutting it because you waste too much when you cut it, and there's a nice juicy layer of ginger right below the skin.
And because I'm a Dutchman, you cannot waste anything.
And the reason you're cutting it is to...
Well, because I have a little food processor.
Yeah.
And if I throw them in one big chunk, then my little food processor is probably going to say, well, wait a minute, I'm not going to work with you anymore. So this is lemongrass.
Okay.
So we're only going to use kind of the heart of the lemongrass, you know, the whitish part that is inside. So we're going to peel off these leaves.
And again, this is something you found here?
Yeah, at the Asian store. They're on Green River Road, right behind the Harley-Davidson store.
Okay.
So we're just gonna take these off.
And this, it's kind of hard.
Yeah,
It smells good too.
smells like lemongrass.
Yeah.
So we're gonna just cut this end off a little bit more.
Oh,
And
it's
as you
hard.
can tell, it's hard.
Yeah.
And we're gonna look for that center part that we're gonna be using in our dish. So this is about, it's probably till about here. Take this away and then cut this part. Again, in smaller pieces, you can see the center of it.
Yeah.
In smaller pieces, out of consideration for my little bitty food processor.
That is hard, and your food processor can.
Well, it's going to take a little bit of chewing, but yeah, it should.
Where did you get that mini food processor? It is wow.
Yeah, well, I like to use that because the big one is so cumbersome, in my opinion. But anyway, so does it smell good?
It smells incredible. Look at that.
So it's nice and fresh. Put that in the food processor.
Okay.
So we're going to be adding 3 tablespoons of water. So 3 tablespoons of olive oil. 3 tablespoons of the sambal ulek to give it a nice spicy taste.
And I guess the more of that you put on, if you want it real spicy, you can add more or...
Oh yes. 2 tablespoons of sugar to give it a little bit of sweetness. So 1 granulated sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of the turmeric, 1 teaspoon of the ground coriander, 1 teaspoon of the ground pepper, freshly ground pepper, and that's it as far as the ingredients is concerned. So now we're going to mix all of this stuff up. So I'm going to chop it a little bit first to get it smaller. So that's about it. Now it should all be finely chopped and ground,
Oh yeah.
and
You know,
there it is.
I never thought your little machine was gonna do it.
Well, sometimes I keep my fingers crossed that it will survive. But anyway, so here's the marinade that we're going to be putting into the chicken. I don't know if you can see that. So I'm going to add the marinade to the chicken that we have cut. Mix it up a little bit. So that all the pieces of chicken are covered by the marinade. And then it's going to go into the refrigerator, and we're going to make satay out of this the following day.
Lucas, what do you mean you're going to saute it overnight?
Yeah, so obviously we made this today, but for it to be really tasty and have soaked up the marinade into the chicken, it's best to leave it overnight in the refrigerator. So for today, I did that yesterday so that today we have yesterday's marinated satay.
Okay, so what
I
you're
hope
trying
that's
to...
as clear as mud.
You're telling me that you made some saute last night so we could go ahead and grill it?
Yes.
You're awesome, my friend.
Refrigerator, and I'll cover it up in a little while. And this is the one that I made yesterday for today.
Thank you.
So it has been marinating for a good 12 or so hours. And there it is. So now we're going to take the skewers that have been soaking in water and put the marinated chicken on there a little bit at a time.
Okay.
So, of course, we have washed our hands before this.
Promise. Cross my heart, I did.
I saw her do it. So I take about 2 or 3, well actually more like 3, sometimes 4, depends on the size of the piece. And I kind of flatten it out like that and set it down. So Marisela, I'm going to put you to work and make satay.
Okay.
Skewer the satay. As a matter of fact, I'll step in too.
Okay, let's
We'll do it
this,
together.
Lucas.
Because I'm getting hungry.
I know, me too. But we still have to make the peanut sauce, right?
That's right.
In Indonesia, do they grill it like?
Over an open, yeah, kind of like a barbecue. Kind of like, you know, what we do here with a little barbecue stand. As a matter of fact, you can buy these on stands along the road in many places.
And I bet they're biryani.
Oh, they are very, very good. Yes. Yeah. So we have finished putting the chicken onto the bamboo skewers and are now getting ready to grill them. Typically what I like to do, although we already have olive oil in there, is before putting these satay on the grill, is to use a little bit of olive oil or sprill before putting them on the grill. So we're going to be doing that real quick. So after a couple of minutes, around 2, kind of check them for a char, kind of like what that looks like. So these are pretty much ready on that side. You don't want to overcook them because then they get tough. So all of these look pretty decent. And we're going to check the other side. And that we wetted these is because if you don't, then they have a tendency to burn right there where the heat comes around the grill.
Oh, yeah.
So
The water protects them.
yeah, so the water makes it more difficult to burn. Exactly. It's cooler.
Lucas, it smells so good in here.
Yeah, it's starting to smell really great. However, we cannot have any of these yet because we still have to make the peanut sauce. And without the peanut sauce, it is not complete satay. But these, yes, you're right, these look very good. And they smell crazy.
Okay, so now we're making the peanut sauce.
Yes. So what I like to use is the creamy peanut butter. You can also use the crunchy peanut butter. So we use about 9 tablespoons, depending on how much you want to make, of course. But the proportions that I have here call for about 9 tablespoons of the peanut butter. So we're going to just kind of put that in there. That's 1. So here goes the 9th scoop.
Okay, and those are heaping tablespoons.
Well, we want to be generous.
Okay.
And this is all based, more so based on taste
Right.
and following the exact quantities.
Okay.
So, 9 scoops, generous scoops of the peanut butter, 2 tablespoons of the sambal ulek. And there again, if you like it hotter, you can add more. So you mix that up. The the peanut butter and the sambal. And as you're mixing it up, it gets stiff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can see it. It
Yeah,
gets
it's starting
stiffer
to
and
get
stiffer. As a matter of fact, you can see how stiff it is.
Yeah.
So,
But you know, when I read your recipe, I thought it gets stiff. What is he talking about? Yeah,
it's
it
kind
is.
of a chemical reaction, I suppose. But anyway, so you get it to mix like that.
Okay.
Then you add 1 tablespoon of sugar. And you'll notice that it will even get stiffer.
It's stiffer.
almost becomes like a brick. Not quite.
Mix it up.
And then, what do you think?
I think it's ready for whatever.
And then you just add enough milk, a little bit at a time,
Okay.
to get it to a sauce of a consistency, kind of like a thick sauce.
Okay.
So you just keep stirring that. Not too hard, not too hard. Keep the milk in there.
Okay, and it is getting softer.
Yes. And it probably even looks like that was just the right amount of milk.
Yeah.
So maybe a little bit more milk to give it a little bit more of a dipping sauce, thick dipping sauce. Maybe that about just should do it.
Yeah, so you don't want it really.
You don't want it too soupy, but
And
you
you don't
also
want
don't want it
yeah.
too thick, because otherwise it, it's difficult to get it out of
Right.
the bowl. And if it is too soupy, then it won't stick on the satay. That looks about right. So I'll get us a satay stick, and we're going to give it a shot. We're going to give it a try. Yes?
Okay, yes, let's give it a try. Well, I'm ready, Lucas.
So am I. So let's grab one of the satays.
Sure.
And then we'll put a little bit of the peanut sauce on there. Kind of cover it. And again, if you want more to make it hotter, then of course you can have more. But this is kind of a nice start. So,
To you,
salute.
cheers.
Cheers. Mm. Well done.
Very well done.
It's delicious. Try
Super.
it sometime.
You have to. This is good. And the heat is just perfect.
Mm.
And that sauce, I can
A little bit sweet, a little
a little
bit
bit
spicy.
sweet. And you can adjust it, right?
Oh yeah,
If you like spicy, you put more in.
a lot
or
more.
sweeter.
If
I
you
think
don't.
I would put more sugar because that's me.
Okay. Yeah, and then
It's
you
so
add a little bit more
delicious.
sweet.
Mm-hmm.
So, bon appetit.
See you next month when I'm inviting you to my kitchen to make the most incredible, the most elegant brunch eggs ever.
Looking forward to it.
Thanks, Lucas.
Good.
Very good. Thank you.